आता काय मग तुला घेतला मग काय मान दुखायला लागली झापणायला.
So, good evening, everyone. So, yesterday we have learned a concrete class, nested class, static class. So, let's continue. So, what we have learned today? Today we are going to complete that types of classes. After that, we are going to learn the lambda, and after lambda, we are going to learn exception handling. So, that's today's target. So, let's continue. Okay. Okay. So let's summarize this all things. So yesterday we are learned what is the class, right? Before that, before continue, just I want to check that my voice is audible and screen are visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So yesterday we learned what is the class. That means a class in a Java is a blueprint or template for creating objects. It defines attributes, that means variables, and behaviors, that means methods, that it's all that its object will have. So in Java, everything revolves around classes and objects, since it is a object-oriented programming language, right? So there are types of classes. We are learn what is the concrete class. Concrete class means it's a standard class with fully implemented methods. It can be initiated using a new keyword. It can be inherit and implement interface. After that, we are learn what is the abstract class. The abstract class declare with abstract keyword. It cannot be initiated directly. It can have both implemented and abstract method. After that, we are learn final class. What means a final class? Final class means what? When we are declare any class with a final keyword, that class is a final class. That class cannot be inherited by any subclass. So we are use a final class when we want to restrict modification of the class functionality, then we can use a final class. After that, we are learn static class. That means which class are declared static. That static is an inner class inside another class. It cannot access non-static members of the outer class directly. It's useful to create utility or helper classes. After that, we are learn a nested class. That means inner class. A class inside another class, that's called nested classes. Has a full access to outer class members, even private. It is useful for encapsulation, better organization of code. And now we are going to learn the 6 number anonymous class. So that's why I'm going to create one class, that's anonymous class. So what is the anonymous class? A class without a name, that means anonymous class. It's a defined inside another expression and used for short live object. It is used in event handling and functional programming. So how it is possible to create an anonymous class? So let's see. To create an anonymous class, first we require one interface. So I'm going to create interface. Student, just a minute. Okay, so to create anonymous class, first we create one interface. That interface name is anonymous example. So that's the interface I'm created for anonymous class. Within that interface, I declare one abstract method. So that's the abstract method. Okay. Now, using that interface, I'm going to create one anonymous class. Let's see how we can create that anonymous class. So here, I'm going to create one class. It's an anonymous class example. Okay. So within that class, uh, I'm going to implement our abstract method from interface. That abstract method is a void. Okay. And within that method, I create the object of interface. That object is end here. So here, here within that anonymous class, I need to implement unimplemented method. That's a public void display. Okay. Okay, let's summarize. Look here, how to create anonymous class. To create anonymous class, we required interface. So that's why I create one interface. That interface holding one abstract method, that's a void display. After that, to demonstrate anonymous class, I create one another class. That class holding one concrete method. That concrete method is a display statement. Actually, these concrete method are holding anonymous class. And to create anonymous class, we are write interface name, the object of interface. To allocate a memory, we are use a new keyword. After that, the constructor part, and within, after that, curly bracket open and curly bracket close, and that object with a semicolon. And after that, within that curly bracket, we are write unimplemented method. That means we are write implement a method. That method which we are declaring within a interface, that method we are implemented here. And just simple statement I'm right there. It's an anonymous class. It's implement using interface without class name, without class name. And after close that object, the outer side of this object, but inside within that method, I need to call that display method. But how we can call that display method? Using object. And that process called creation of anonymous class. That process called creation of anonymous class. So I hope you are understand how to create anonymous class. Is any question regarding this anonymous class? Is any question regarding anonymous class? Yes, of course. It is possible. We can provide body to multiple interface using that way. So to run this code, we require to create object of that anonymous example within our main method. Let's check where is the main method here. And using that object of an anonymous example, it is possible to call display statement method. So it's a printed. It's an anonymous class that implementing an interface without naming a class. So once again, we are learn anonymous class. That means a class without name. That's an anonymous class. That class we are used to define inside another expression and use for short live objects. That anonymous class used in event handling, functional programming. For that purpose, we are use anonymous class. So how to create anonymous class? To create anonymous class, first we create interface. When we are learn interface, we are learn that things interface are not initiated. That means directly not initiated. Interface directly not initiated. After that, creating interface, I create one simple concrete class. Within that concrete class, I created one method. That method is a display statement. Within that method, whatever things we are write, that's called anonymous class. So how to create anonymous class? Create object of interface. So when we are create object of interface, after curly bracket open and close, there are semicolon to close that object. That means these are part of anonymous class. These are part of anonymous. That highlighted is a part of anonymous class. So within that anonymous class, I need to implement that abstract method. So I implement that abstract method here. And after that, I need to call that things. To call that abstract method, I simply use anonymous class object. And after that object, I was call the a method which we are implemented within anonymous class. So that's a anonymous class. No, for abstract class, we have some another things. I will show you that things also. So is it clear why we are use anonymous class, where this class is used? Is it clear that things? Where we are use that things to handle event handling. That means if you want to a mouse click on that time we are use that things, key press on that time we are use that things. Within a functional programming we are use anonymous class. Okay. And how to execute that code? Just I create object of our concrete class. That concrete class holding a method display statement, and within that display statement we have anonymous class. So when we are called display statement, that anonymous class will be execute. So I hope everyone understand anonymous class. Okay. So that's a way to create a interface object. Next, the next class is a local class. So what is the local class? When you are declare a class within a method, then that class are called local class. But local class have a name. So how we can create local class? Look here. It's a concrete class, local class example. That concrete class holding one method display message. That's a method. Within that method, I'm going to create one another class, that class called local class. So here we are use a same name, that is a local class. It's a local class. And within a local class, it is a possible we can write a concrete method and declare a variable. Like here, I'm going to write integer a. Okay. So that's the local class. What is the local class? When we are declare any class within a method. When we are declare any class within a method, then this class called a local class. But local class is like a concrete class. It's have a name. It can be hold uh, variables, number of type concrete methods. It can be hold uh, constructor. But this class are declared within a method. Then that class called local class. That class called local class. So let's create object of local class. So within a main, we are create a object of a local class example. And using that object of local class example, we can call a display message. So I hope you understand what is the local class. Let's summarize. What is the local class? The class which you are declare within curly brackets. That class, it's called local class. Most of time, local class we are create within a method. So here I create one class, that's a concrete class. This class holding one method. Within that method, I create a local class. I create local class. That local class have a all concrete class members, like it can be have a variables, it can be have a concrete method, it can be have a constructor. After write local class, after ending local class, within a same method, I create object of local class. And after that, using that object, we are called the local class method. We are called a local class method. So that's the local class. Is any question regarding local class?
पप्पा पाणी द्या ना पाणी घ्यायचंच विसरलो
Is any question regarding local class?
पाणी पाणी
Okay. So once completed local class, we are going to learn a next class. That class is a POJO class. So what means a POJO? It's called plain old Java object. What is the purpose to use POJO? It is used for data transfer and entity representation. A POJO is a simple Java class without any special restriction. It contains only private fields, and it's have a public getter and setter method. So what means a getter and setter method? To get a data, we need to write getter method. To set a data for a particular variable, we are use setter method. So let's see how we can create POJO class, plain old Java object. So it's a simple data class. Within that class, we have only private method. Of course, other methods also you can write, but maximum time when we are write a POJO class, it can handle a data. So that's why we are use only private methods. Private variables, not a methods. Within a POJO class, we can write constructor. So that's a constructor. After that, we need to write getter and setter methods. Why it's a required getter and setter method? To a set value for that private variables, we require setter method. To get values from that private variables, we require to write getter method. So that private getter and setter method always a public. So we can access that methods from outer side of class, and using that things, it is a possible to access private members. So let's create getter and setter method. So that's a getter and setter method. So if we are create a getter and setter method, then not required this constructor actually, but we can create one another constructor. It's a default construct. Okay, so that's a default constructor, but it's not required. So I'm not create that things. So how we can call that things? To call a Pojo class, we are create object of Pojo class within our main. Allocate a new memory, and that's a constructor part. So here we have a constructor with a data, right? That's data is what? Name and age. And using object of Pojo class, we can call getter method to get a data. And using object of Pojo class, it is a possible we can call setter method to set a data. We required output, right? So that's why I'm going to write these things within println method. So getter method always return a value and setter method always accept argument. That's output of our from our Pojo class. So once again, let's repeat that same content. What means a Pojo class? It's a simple concrete class. It contains only private fields and getter setter methods. It is used for data transfer and entity representation. It is used for data transfer and entity representation. That's the purpose of Pojo class. How to create a Pojo class? Look here, I create one simple class. That name is a Pojo class example. That's a Pojo class that's holding a two private members. That's a type of string and integer. After that, it can be hold a constructor. After that, to get a value from that variable, we need to write getter method. How to write getter method? Is my screen are not visible? I want to check that things. Is my voice is audible and screen are visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Both are perfect.
Okay. 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 So what is the getter method? To get a value from a private member, we need to write getter method. Getter method, when we write, it's always written a type. And that getter method, a name, we are start from get, and after that, the name of this variable. So it's a return value, that's a string. After that, there are setter method. Setter method means what? To set a value for a private member, we need to write setter method. How we can write the setter method? It name start from set, method name start from set. After that, variable name, and after variable name, that method accept argument which we want to set, and that's the argument. And we are allocate to that instance variable a local variable. So using that, we can set a new value for our private member. So I think it's all of you are understand. Is any question regarding Pojo class? Okay. So I'm answering your questions. So getter and setter method are mandatory within a Pojo because Pojo are useful to handle a data. That data may be a static data or data may be a dynamic data from database. Maximum time we are using Pojo class to handle a data, and we required to secure that data. That data are no one can access directly. So that's why we are create private member within a Pojo class. After that, yes, Pojo class is also used in a concrete class because that all things are like concrete, but Pojo class are not holding any logic to manipulate a data. No, to manipulate a data, Pojo class not holding any logic. It's have only getter and setter method. Concrete class are holding a different logic to manipulate a data, and Pojo class only have methods to get and set a data. It's a normal constructor. That constructor currently we are not getting a data from a database. So that's why I require that constructor to initialize a data, that name and age. No, Pojo class are not. Of course, it will be extended, but normally Pojo class we are not extend to any child class, and Pojo class are not implemented any interface. Yes, right. Pojo class only get and set a data, but it can't be manipulated. Like suppose I want to set roll numbers, and that roll numbers are sequentially roll numbers. So POJO class help us to get a data, that roll numbers from a database. But we are not make it sequentially, because we are not create any logic within a POJO class. We can create a logic with another concrete class. So concrete class have ability to create a logic to manipulate a data. So we have learned different classes. What is the difference between anonymous? Anonymous is a totally different thing. That anonymous means what? A class which not hold any name. That class we can create using interface. And anonymous class we are write within a curly brackets. That means within method. But POJO class we are it's like concrete class. It's have a their own memory allocation. Is any other question regarding POJO class? At older time, where that means when I work with Ernst and Youngs, on that time I'm use a POJO class. But after that, maximum time to handle a data, we are use a bean class. So what is the bean class? Let's see. If you're not have a question, then we can move on bean class. And nowadays we are use a bean class instead POJO. No, POJO is not outdated, not deprecated. POJO still a famous to handle a data, but there are one another class, that bean class have a more mature and more famous instead a POJO. Yes, POJO class, it's possible to create object, so we can create object, no problem. Yes, we already create object, right? We are get and set a data using POJO class object. So that POJO class have a object. Yes, then also object consider a POJO if you are not right setters. But if you are not right setter, then we can need object constructor to initialize a private members. When we are use a Spring framework, it's called bean class, not a POJO. So I will tell you why it's called bean class. So is any question, another question regarding POJO? Okay, let's move to bean class. So what is the bean class? Look here. It's a similar to POJO, but it's follow additional rules. That rule is what? There are not have any argument constructor. It's implement serializable interface. We are uses getter and setter method like POJO, and bean class are used in Java Beans architecture framework like Spring. So how we can create bean class? Let's see. So here I'm going to create bean class. Please mute yourself. Okay. So let's see how we can create a bean class. So that's a bin class. So let's summarize these things. Bin class is similar to Pojo, but follows additional rules. That additional rules is what? It has a no argument constructor. It has no argument constructor. It implements serializable interface. It's implement serializable interface. It's uses getter and setter methods to handle private members like Pojo. We are use a bin class in a Spring framework, in a Hibernate framework, in a Java beans architecture. We are use bin class. So what's the difference between bin and Pojo? The Pojo class is a normal concrete class. That class holding private methods, private variables, and getter setter method with the constructor. That constructor holding argument. The bin class are implement serializable. It's holding private members. That's a variables. It's holding a constructor without argument, and it's have getter setter methods to get a data and set a data from variable. The Java Bean classes we are used within a framework. That framework is a Spring. Within a framework, that framework is a Hibernate. And Java Beans architecture also use a Bean classes. So here we are implement serializable interface. Why serializable is required? So to understand why serializable required, we need to understand what is the serialization. Serialization is a process of converting an object into byte stream, which can then be stored or transfer over a network. That means serialization. And for that process, we required that implements that bin class using one interface that is a serializable. So serializable is required when we are transfer a data over a network. That means what? Suppose you want to set a data within your database or get a data from a database. Then database is a different application. That application store in a different server. So your application are host in a different server. So your application required a data from database server. So it's a transfer to get a data or set a data. It's a transfer object, and that object are converting into a stream. That stream is a byte stream. And for that reason, we required serializable interface. Convert into byte, right? It's responsible to convert object into byte and a byte into object. It's a byte stream. Why extend? Extend we are use only for extend classes in inheritance. The implements we are use in inheritance when we need to extend interface. Please remember that things. When we are use extend, when we need to extend class, then we are use extend within a inheritance. When we need to extend interface, we are use implements within inheritance. So there we are extended interface, that's a serializable within our bin class example. So I hope that I answer all questions. Is any other question? The POJO are not implemented serializable. The POJO holding constructor with argument, but bin class, normal bin class are not implement serializable, and it's not holding a constructor with argument. But if you have a requirement within your program, then it is a possibility that you can create that constructor with the arguments. Yes, class, extend class, and interface, implement interface, extend interface, class implements interface. That's correct. Where we are use a bin class, when we want to get a data from database, then we are use a bin class, because most of time database server is in another location and our application hosted in another location. We need to transfer that data in a byte stream. So that's why we are use a bin class there to get and set a data. Uh, Serializable interface directly not have a any abstract method, but it's have some sub interfaces, and those sub interfaces have those method. That method are useful to implement serialization. Yes, it's similar to POJO, but it's have some strict rule that it must be implement serialization, and it's holding uh, a constructor without argument. No, normally we are not write any logic within a bin class. It's also useful to get a data and set a data. To write to manipulate that data, we need to write a different concrete class. it's not that means it's not required to implement serializable methods. The JVM implicitly are doing that things for us. So no need to invoke and implement any abstract method from serializable and their subclass sub interfaces. Okay, so I hope you understand the bean class. So we are going to move. Now I'm going to create another file within our core Java. That's a class. That class name is Lambda example. According to project requirement, we are use that classes. So let's discuss the next thing, that is a Lambda. So the Lambda are expression, and Lambda expressions are anonymous function that provides a conscious way to express instance of functional interface. They were introduced in Java 8 and to support functional programming. Using Lambda, that means it's allowing developers to write cleaner and more readable code. So what is the purpose of Lambda? It's improve code reusability, readability, and reduce boilerplate code. It's enable functional programming in Java. It's enhance the use of stream and collections. It's replace anonymous inner classes for shorter and more conscious code. It's increase parallel processing capabilities in Java. So how we can write a Lambda? Let's see. To write any Lambda, we require functional interface. That functional interface are interface that contain only one abstract method, making them idle for use with Lambda expression. So here I'm going to take one real-time example. That's employee salary management using Lambda expression. Okay, we are going to making employee salary management using Lambda expression. So there we are implement different types of Lambda, that expression to handle salary calculation, tax deduction, and performance bonus in a employee salary management system. So how we can create that things? Look here. So we required a custom functional interface, that's no parameter Lambda. So functional interface, that's the annotation. That annotation I'm used for interface. There are some question in chat box. After sir, what does these types of classes? I'm already discussed that things. Next question from Sukanya. Syntax of basic lambda. We are going to learn that things. Okay, look here. I write one interface, that interface holding one annotation, that annotation is a functional interface. Interface name is employee ID generator, and within that interface, look Hamida, just we are starting that lambda, and that all features of lambda I'm deliver here with parameters, without parameters, all things. So currently we are going to see how to create a lambda. Okay. So to create a lambda, we required an interface, and that interface have annotation that a functional interface annotation. So what is the purpose of that interface? It's holding one abstract method. That is method name is a generate. So using that implement abstract method, we are generate employee ID. Okay, with a lambda. So let's use that things. Okay. So let's see. So let's see. Before continue, just I want to check my voice is audible and screen are visible to you. Is my voice is audible and screen are visible to you? Okay. So here, look here, how we can create a lambda. To create a lambda, we require one interface. That interface having one annotation, that's a functional interface. So functional interface only have one abstract method, and that abstract method we are override here. After that, how to create a lambda using that interface? So in line number 11, I created lambda. So that's the interface name. After that, it's a object equal to, after equal to parenthesis, because we don't have any parameter there. So that parentheses are empty. After that, these arrow symbol. After arrow symbol, I write expression. That expression are calculate. That expression calculate what? Employee ID. That expression calculate employee ID. And after that, I declare one string variable. That string variable holding a generated employee ID from this generate method. From this generate method. So that's implementation of the generate method, and that employee ID we are printed here. So that's a simple thing, how to create a lambda without parameter. Yes, for it's a good practice when we are write a lambda, we are use a functional interface. But without functional interface also, JVM allow us to create a lambda. But that's not good practice. When you are use lambda, you must be. It's recommended that you can use a functional interface annotation. So we can call it we can say it no parameter lambda. So I hope you understand how to create a lambda. I'm summarize these all things once again. How to create a lambda? To create a lambda, we require interface. That interface use one annotation at the rate functional interface. This interface holding one single method. One single method. That's to generate employee ID. After that, how we can create a lambda? That's a lambda for no parameter lambda. I'm use a interface name. The object of interface equal to, after equal to, that's a empty parenthesis. That means we are not use any parameters there. After that, arrow, and after arrow, whatever things we are write, it's a single statement to generate employee ID. Now we need to call that lambda. We are created lambda, but we need to call. To call that lambda, what I'm right here, that lambda function, that function is a generate, and that function return a string value. So that's why I create one string employee ID, and within that string, using generate employee ID object, we are call one method. That method name is a generate. So it's a return one string, that is employee ID, and after that, that employee ID we are a display here using system.out.println. So that's the employee ID. So Tanish, Are you understand what I'm deliver here? For you, I'm just summarize these all things how to create a lambda from line number 6 to 30. Okay. So we can create a lambda with a different type. That means lambda have a parameter, non-parameter, number of statements. So how we can do that things? Let's see. We are see that examples to create different types of lambda with a real-time functionality. That's employee management for a salary purpose. After that, I'm going to create one another interface. That interface are useful to calculate a net salary. So that's why I'm going to create one another interface. Yes, that's a mandatory syntax. After equal to, that's a mandatory syntax. Without arrow, it's not possible to create lambda. So arrow are express. From arrow, we are write expression. That expression manipulated data or what other logics for our abstract method. That abstract method is a generate. Okay, so let's create one another interface. Look here, I write that interface within a main method, but it is also possible that you can write this interface outside of main method within your class like this. So I can write next interface here. So here I'm write one annotation functional interface, and that annotation for interface, that annotation for interface, what we are doing, calculate net salary, right? So interface name is a net. It's a calculate net salary. That's the interface. That interface are holding one abstract method, that's return double type. That's the abstract method. And these abstract method holding parameters to calculate net salary. Okay, so that's our abstract method. So now using that interface, let's start to create a lambda. So here we are going to create the parameter as lambda. It's a multiple parameter lambda, right? So let's create a lambda using that interface. So we are create object. After create object, I'm use equal to. After equal to, parentheses are there, and within parentheses we need to hold two arguments. That's salary and tax amount. So here suppose that salary is a 5,000 and tax amount is 50 rupees.
फुले.
So we are uses salary and tax amount, right? To calculate net salary after a tax. And it's okay, we are using multiple parameter lambda. We are doing one mistake, that we are implemented directly a method, but instead that we can use a logic. And now that logic we are implemented when we are generate method, invoke a method. So here net salary, that means net salary means calculate method return a double value. So here we are calculated net salary. Okay. So let's see how we can do that thing. That's the next type of lambda, that's holding multiple parameter. To create that lambda, I use one interface. That interface is a net salary calculate. That interface holding one abstract method. That method name is a calculate. It's written a double value. It's holding two parameter, that is a salary and tax amount. After that, how I can create a lambda? Look here. I create object of net salary calculate. After that, within a parenthesis, I'm use a two variable, that's a salary and tax amount. But when I use that two variable, I'm not use any type. I'm not use any type because that type are already declared within our abstract method, that is a double. So that type of salary and tax amount is a double. After that, the arrow, and after arrow we have expression, that's a holding logic of calculate net salary, that salary minus tax amount. And after that, we need to invoke calculate method using the net salary calculate object, and a pass argument 5,000 is a salary and 50 is a tax amount, and we can get the net salary here. Is any question regarding multiple parameter lambda? Is any question regarding multiple parameter lambda? Okay. So Samruddhi, are you joined right now? Because I'm already explained that things lambda expression are anonymous function that provide a conscious way to express instance of functional interface. They were introduced in Java 8 to support functional programming. Using that, we are allowing developers to write cleaner and more readable code. So it's a reduced boilerplate code. That means to calculate net salary, we require to create one another class and implement that net salary calculate interface. Within that another class, we require to implement that calculate interface, a calculate method, and that calculate method holding that logic to calculate net salary. After that, we need to create object of our class, and that object are invoke a calculate method. So here we are avoid that all things, and it's a more conscious way to write a program using lambda. So what's your name? Samruddhi. Did you understand that things why we are using lambda? Okay. So if there are not have any multiple parameter lambda question, then we can move. Look here. We are create multiple parameter lambda. But we need to learn one more thing. That's so using that way, we can calculate salary tax. Okay. So here I'm going to create interface. Interface is a tax. That's the interface. It's holding one method. That method for a tax calculation. It's the abstract method. Now, within our main method, we can create the object of tax calculator. It's a calculate tax equal to the parenthesis. Within parenthesis, we required a single parameter. That single parameter is we can write it. It's a single parameter, right? It's a single parameter. That's a salary. So I'm use one another syntax. That's the logic to calculate salary. To calculate tax. And after that, we need to invoke that method. That method return double type. And the salary is 5,000. So we get the tax on that 5,000. It's a tax. That's a tax. So I hope you are understand that things how we can use a single parameter lambda. Just we are skip parenthesis here. Just we are skip parenthesis. But if you want, you can use that parenthesis also. That's not problem. But I'm not use parenthesis here. So is any question regarding single parameter lambda? Any question regarding single parameter lambda? Okay. After that, let's see one another type of lambda that that is a code block. For that purpose, I'm going to create another interface. I can write that interface below side of main method. So we need to create one interface. So using that interface, we can generate salary slip. Okay. So that means what? We are write a lambda with a code block to display format employee details. Salary slip what? It's a employee details with the salary deduction and all things. So here I create interface. That interface name is a salary slip printer. So within that interface, I write one method. That's a print. That's method is print. So the functional interface holding one single abstract method, and we are override that single abstract method here using void print. And now let's create lambda. So that lambda name is we can say it's with a code block. Huh? That means so let's create object first. We can see it's a print slip. That's the object equal to. The required name of employee, right? So here we are printing all details for salary slip. First is employee name. That's name. After that, the salary. We have employee name. So within our interface, just we are change at okay, just we are change that things. Okay, after that, using that print slip, I invoke a method. That method is a print with employee name. So we are get the all employee details like salary slip. Is any question regarding Lambda with code block? That means we are printed multiple statement within a single Lambda. So let's summarize. Here we are create Lambda with code block. That means a multiple statement within a Lambda. For that purpose, I create one interface. That interface is a salary slip printer. That interface holding one abstract method. That method name is a print with argument a name. That's a string type. After that, within a main method, I create object, the print slip. That's holding one argument name. After arrow, curly bracket open, curly bracket close. Within that curly bracket, I'm write multiple statement to display employee details. That's which are necessary in print a slip. And after that, using that print slip, I invoke a print method with argument employee name. And that's showing that result. Okay. One more things we have within a Lambda, that all Lambda. So after that, we are going to see Lambda with no return. For that purpose, I'm going to create one interface. Just wait. Okay, let's continue. So here I want to print a employee detail. Done. So here we are use lambda with no return. And it's a printed employee name. So I'm going to share that code with you. Okay, let's observe that all code. And if you have any doubt regarding lambda, you can ask. Is any question regarding lambda? Please review that code. If you're not understand anything from that, you can ask me. So let's summarize these all things. A lambda expression are anonymous function that provide a conscious way to express instance of functional interfaces. It's allow a developer to write cleaner and more readable code. It's improve readability, conscious syntax, and support functional programming. So using lambda, we are avoid boilerplate code. To create any lambda, we require interface, and that interface with one annotation. That annotation is a functional interface. That functional interface holding one abstract method, and that abstract method we are override within our interface. So after write interface with abstract method, we need to create a lambda. To create a lambda, first we write interface name. After that, object of this interface. After equal to the parenthesis, within a parenthesis, if that interface abstract method holding parameters, that parameters we are write. After that, arrow. After arrow, we need to write the expression. That means logic. What's the calculator? What's the things we need to do to call that abstract methods? So that's expression are there. And after that, using object of interface, we call that abstract method with a argument or without argument. So here I'm deliver that all things lambda with no return, lambda with multiple code block, that means a code block, the lambda with multiple parameter, the lambda with a single parameter, and lambda with no parameter. That all things we are cover here. To create interface, I was show two ways. Either you can create interface within a class, or either you can create interface within a main method. But there are one limitation when we are creating interface within a main method, it cannot be accessed outside of main method. So recommended way is what? You can create interface outside of main method, inside in a class. Yes, that all classes code also I'm going to share with you. That's a code with classes. Pranita, I'm not understand your question. Pranita, are you there? What you want to ask? Pranita, are you there? Okay, there are not have any response. So that our OneDrive is a share folder. You need to download that code from that folder. It's accessible, it's available for all. So Sukanya, if you have any issue regarding access code, please share your window. So I will help you. Okay. No, today I'm not covering any other topics. Exception handling we can continue tomorrow. But is any other question regarding Lambda? Did you understand Lambda, how to create? I'm deliver here all the ways to create a Lambda. Yes, today, maybe today I'm uploaded that all recorded lectures on YouTube, and that YouTube link I will share tomorrow after uploading. So I will try to upload today only. Okay. So you are understand Lambda. So I'm going to give you one assignment regarding Lambda and classes. That's the first question. You need to create local class to validate mobile number. To validate mobile number, uh, in India, we have only 10 numbers to validate mobile number, right? So if there are 10 numbers, then it can be validate. It's not start from zero. the bin and Pojo class. For bin and Pojo class, example, we are see that assignment I'm given when we are complete JDBC. On that time, we you can create Pojo and bin class. Okay, that's a 4 question for you. And that 4 question I'm going to push on our chat box. That's for your assignment. And now I'm going to update our share folder. Just wait, I'm going to update share folder. Okay. So I shared that all files within our shared repository. That's a link. You can copy that link from our chat box. So Sukanya Wag, please share your screen. So I will help you to get that all notes. Sukanya Wagh, please share your screen. Sukanya Wagh, that notes are updated. That means you no need to update that notes. Just you download and use for yourself. Please share your screen, Sukanya Wagh. Okay, then that's good. Okay, that's good. Issue to download a notes. Is anyone have any issue to download a notes? Arundhati, that's good. You are perfectly create a local class. That's a link. Same link I'm going to share on a WhatsApp also. It's not a new link. Actually, older link also useful to download notes. So I share that link on our WhatsApp group also. Okay. So, is any other question regarding today's lecture? Okay, then I'm going to end this meeting here. See you tomorrow with the same link and with the same time on the same time. So thank you very much to attend our class. So I'm going to end this meeting here.